Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Same Old Lions franchise stream here featuring Madden 21. This is episode 7. We have moved along quite a bit since the last episode. Just haven't had a ton of time to do streaming. So I've been trying to just kind of sneak games in when I can, even sneaking quarters in, kind of playing games a quarter at a time and whatnot. But we've progressed along. The slider set has progressed along, which is kind of what this series is sort of built around. Is kind of the franchise building, team building experience in Madden, for better or worse. And the slider set that I have been using here and sharing with the community up on Operation Sports. So you can get to that slider thread up on their website. So if you go there and you go to the forum section and then into the Madden slider section, you'll see it in there. And yeah, I mean, I think the only change, so I'm on like version 1.6 or something. I forget the number now, but the latest version, I think I updated yesterday or the day before. The only tweak I've made is I think I've increased punt power a little bit longer just because it's very hard to get returns for either team when they're just not quite kicking as far. You'll also notice the averages may have been a little bit too low on average or on default for punt power. So that's the only adjustment that you'll see here in this particular game that we'll be streaming. But otherwise, we have a lot of catching up to do. Looking around the league, looking at the college draftees, the future NFL rookies that we'll be seeing for the 21 season, and really just the general Lions plan of where things are looking. The team sits at 5-9 right now. We've had a lot of up and down games. We can just kind of go back and just look through the schedule so far. I don't even remember the last game I actually streamed here, but if we just kind of look through some of the game, and you're going to see, so when you see these like played, right, these are there's a combination of things here. This is obviously when the game's been stopped and restarted. Some of these are, as I mentioned, playing just kind of quarter by quarter, taking a part of my lunch break or something, like jumping in, playing the first quarter, things like that. So a lot of these just kind of coming back. The other part too, a lot of it is coming through and seeing the slider adjustments, right? Right away, kind of like I'll put up a penalty slider or something, and I'll see on the first drive it's been called like 5 times. Like, okay, well, I need to back out and restart this game over. There's obviously a problem here, but we've had quite the variety of games. I mean, we were put up some nice points there on the Falcons with, I think we had a couple defensive touchdowns that game. Lost a really close one to the Colts. Lost to the Vikings. We beat Washington. Got absolutely smoked by the Panthers. So you can see there, the restarts aren't necessarily because like I was unhappy with how the team played or anything like that. It was, like I said, a lot of times just connected to my schedule or slider testing. But the Texans again lost 34-20. The Bears, we won 17-14. The Packers very, very close, much better than the debacle of week 2 there, 62-14. That was obviously pretty rough. And but yeah, so we hung in there with the Packers and we just beat the Titans. So again, if we just kind of look at the most recent box score just to see, the team actually played pretty well this week. I think this is the first time all season we put up 400 yards of offense, rushing 150, passing 250. That includes sack yardage against. No turnovers. They had 1. Third downs doesn't give you the percentage on the screen, unfortunately. And even had, penalties starting to kind of balance out a little bit better there. Stafford had his best game of the year by far, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, sacked just once, and was 71%, 12.4 yards per attempt. So again, just by far his best game of the year. Tannehill didn't play terrible, but their team was behind pretty much the whole game because I think they turned the ball over on their first possession, I think, was the interception. And we came down and scored. It might have been, I can't remember if it was a defensive touchdown or not, but I know we scored pretty early in that first quarter. Kerryon Johnson also had his best game of the year. He was kind of the hot hand here as we started to kind of move away from Swift this week. But he had a huge, really, really long run that upped his average, obviously. 18 carries, 118 yards. He had a 53-yard run, which was it was like a 4th and 1, I think, too, or something like that. He just kind of broke it open. Or maybe it wasn't 4th, maybe it was 3rd. I don't think we went for it on 4th this week. But Derrick Henry, his usual self, 18 carries, 10 broken tackles. Just craziness. So he, of course, did really, really well. Receiving, it's a little bit easier if we look at each team. Marvin Jones and Galladay both had 4 catches for over 20-yard averages. These guys, we spread the ball around a little bit. Yeah, it's crazy. We didn't have a ton of completions, huh? I mean, he only threw 21 times, so it's just kind of how it went this week. It was a rain game too, so we were running the ball a lot more, which could also lead to some of those broken tackles. But it was again pretty cool. Like I know there was a player, Hawkinson, was wide open, and I was on a third down too, and he made his cut wide open and just slipped in the rain, and I threw it to a dead body basically. So that was a bummer. But Marvin Jones had a huge catch, 56 yards. Galladay had one himself, 53 yards was his long. And that, of course, ups the averages, especially when you're only having 4 catches there. So those are some of the things we saw there. A couple screen passes worked out pretty well. Amendola had a touchdown over the middle. So let's see, blocking, we gave up 1 sack. It was Joe Dahl, so coming off the left side there. We had, I think, 3 sacks. Yeah, Flowers had back-to-back plays with sacks, and Danny Shelton got in on a coverage sack. Our 1 interception was Duron Harmon, who just signed an extension with us, 2-year extension. I had to overpay a little bit because he wanted 4 years, but I said, listen, why don't I give you a little bit more money? Let's just do 2 years from now. So it kind of locks up a hole. One less hole to fill. Is Duron Harmon like the end-all, be-all to free safeties that I want for this team? No, but he's 29 right now, or 28, I think. I think he's 29, and so he'll fill that gap at least. He can at least be a high 70, which is a starter in this league, and so. And in worst case, his contract isn't terrible if we had to cut him, if we do come across someone who's a good replacement. But for now, I didn't want to lock him up for 4 years or anything, and I didn't want to just create all these extra holes because this team has a lot of holes. So if we have a guy who wants to kind of stick around and plug one of those holes for now, great. We will take it. 4 defended passes for the Lions. I think they also had 4. So again, you can see really, really good balance there. If we look, they had the 1 sack. Came from their defensive tackle. Let's see what their receiving yards look like here. Derrick Henry at 11 catches for 103 yards. I didn't even notice that. Other than that, they spread the ball around. Nobody really killed us or anything. Humphreys, they said in the commentary, he's got like 14 touchdowns or something for them. So he's been just a touchdown machine. And we saw Derrick Henry's rushing there. So that was the most recent game. I tweeted out earlier a pretty cool stat line here for Kenny Galladay, which I thought was a pretty cool thing. So if I just go to team stats here, let's just go to receiving, and we can look at Kenny Galladay. I'm gonna look at his player card here, and this is what I tweeted out basically. So we look at last year. Now 8 of these games were without Matthew Stafford, right? He was playing with a backup. I think he played all 16 games, pretty close to it at least. This year he's played, he's played in all 14 games so far. So he's played in less games, obviously, but he was playing with some pretty rough quarterbacks half of the season last year. But this is pretty cool to see how the slider set on All-Madden and on broadcast camera view is really playing out well. You can see, this all aligns really well. At first I was like, ooh, his average is getting a little bit too high. But if you look, this is pretty much in line with what he's done in his career, and you'd expect a little uptick, 1, as he continues to mature and get better, and 2, having Stafford for the entire season. So his average per game is up. But everything else, even like the long catch is, kind of within his typical range there. So just seeing a lot of really, really cool stuff. If we look around the rest, he's obviously not a passer. But if we just kind of look around, Stafford's taken every snap so far. He's at about 3,400 yards. Just 61%, so that's pretty low. But again, some of that's just a couple of the games, absolutely struggled adjusting the broadcast camera, that sort of thing. So those are a little bit low. 21 touchdowns with 13 interceptions. So again, if we look and compare this to some of Stafford's more recent years, it's, again, pretty interesting. Last year, we can kind of throw last year out a little bit, simply because it was 8 games. He played at an MVP level. He was that good. He was a top 5 quarterback through the first half of the season. As you can see here, it was really his best statistical career if you look at his QB rating. But he got hurt. He would have thrown for close to 5,000 yards if he kept at that pace, 40 touchdowns. That's MVP level, right? So anyway, but if we kind of look and we go through and look at some of his more similar years, so let's use 2018 for instance. You can see the QB rating, again, it's a little bit lower. And again, some of that's just me, playing garbagely at times. Some of that's Madden with, I've mentioned before, Stafford's traits are really difficult to use in this game. If I back out and show you what I'm talking about, there's a couple traits that he has that makes him, I mean, I love Matthew Stafford. I've gone on rants on this stream about him, but in Madden, he's really hard to use. So that trigger-happy sense of pressure and aggressive forcing passes. So those are two different things, and they play into kind of like that, like, interception conversion, if you think about it that way. So the trigger happy is when he has guys, when he's under pressure, right? So how does the quarterback respond under pressure? And you see these little notifications on the bottom of the screen when it happens. But when he has pressure, his balls are much more dangerous than a guy who has, say, like a conservative sense of pressure or a normal. Those passes are, A, more likely to kind of veer off a little bit towards a defender, and 2, more likely to be caught by that defender. And so that's not an ideal trait. You really have to be careful with a guy like this. On top of that, he also has the aggressive forcing passes. So again, throwing into tight coverage, which is always an adjustment in Madden each year, because what is open in real life a lot of times is not open in Madden, especially on the All-Madden level. And when you put those two traits together, you can get a bit of an uptick in interceptions. So just to kind of explain where I was going with that, but if we look at his 18 season, so this is a little bit low, and again, some of that's just because the completion percentage I was adjusting with the broadcast camera. But a lot of this other stuff looks really, really good. His sacks are going to be actually way down unless he gets sacked 7 times in the next 2 games. But his sacks will have come down, and maybe that's a bad thing, right? Because maybe that's me kind of forcing the ball out a little too quickly. That's lowering this. That's probably increasing this for like a rushed play, and that's something I've been trying to work on, is just trusting my really crummy offensive line a little bit more, let things open up a little bit. But you can see his long pass, pretty close. Completion percentage, as I mentioned, is low, but I mean, this is more in line with kind of what he did earlier in his career, right? So it's not completely crazy, but here's what was really telling, right? The yards per attempt. I mean, this is like right in line with what he's been doing. And so, even with some of the craziness here, again, the yards are a little bit down as our offense has struggled this year, me adjusting the playbook and things like that. But just getting really, really good results. If we look at the rushing leaders here, pretty decent, kind of, 60-30 or so split with these two guys. And so, Swift and Johnson are actually both doing the same after Carry-On had a really nice week last time. We have not gotten, just for whatever reason, he just hasn't really come up. He's gotten 1 carry, Adrian Peterson, so not quite the usage he's getting in real life with this team. But these guys are both quick development players. Well, actually, I don't know what Swift is yet. We don't quite know. He's, by the end of the season, we should know where he's looking. But definitely want to get him some work. Carry-On Johnson is a quick developer. And so really prioritizing those guys. At the start of the season, as far as Madden is concerned, I wasn't quite sure why the Lions grabbed an Adrian Peterson. In real life, it's worked out really well. He's been fantastic for the Lions. And so, but, with this, it was kind of like, that's weird. What are they doing with these guys? So that's what's going on there. On the defensive side, Jamie Collins is like in the top 5 in the NFL in tackles. You can see we have a lot of defensive back tackling. And what that tells me is our defense is really bad. Coverage has been pretty bad. We don't get a ton of pressure with our defensive line. I mean, we have probably more pressure than the real life lines have been getting. You can see Flowers has 9 sacks. So again, you'd think he'd probably get the double-digit sacks this year. And but that's kind of normal for him. He's not he doesn't put up crazy sack numbers. He's a pressure guy. He's a power rusher. He gets in the quarterback's face, but you can see this is already a career high for him. So that's kind of in line with where he has been. But you can see like tackles are way down for defensive linemen, right? Because they just don't get off the blocks as well in this game. So you're going to be seeing a little bit of an inflation with your defensive backs and so on getting those tackles. And so, it could be a case to lower run blocking a little bit. That could open up some more tackles. You just have to really be careful with how much you're getting in regards to tackles for losses and things like that. Defended passes, Jeff Okudah's in the top 5 in the NFL in defended passes. And as we look at kind of the team numbers here, right, so we have kind of like a lot of mid numbers here, 6s and 5s and so on. If we just kind of click through some other teams, you can see this is in line. Let's get to a team we haven't played yet. So we haven't played the Patriots, so there's our, maybe a tick lower. We haven't played the Raiders. And so, argument can be made, maybe maybe coverage is a little too tight. We did play the Saints, so some of those are from us. We didn't play the Seahawks, so those are little things there. So again, maybe coverage is a bit too tight. Maybe run blocking is a bit too good. But again, if you look at our team stats, and these are all over the place right now, we have the second worst overall yardage against on defense. I'm sorry, we have the second worst offense. So second worst offense statistically. Or that's total yards. So for offense, well, we are the second worst offense as well. Passing, we're the third worst passing offense. Rushing, I don't know where we're at here. Towards the bottom, but not as bad. Points per game, again, towards the bottom-ish. So, first downs, second to last. The Chiefs, interesting, 8-6. Total defensive yards, again, with 2 games to go here. What was that, fifth? Fifth in the league, fourth in the league. Passing defense, 6th in the league. Or 6th worst, of course, I'm saying. So 5th worst defense, 6th worst passing, or I guess 4th worst overall defense. And then the 3rd worst rushing defense. So, I mean, pretty bad. Definitely not good. 3rd worst points against. Sacks, probably a little high still. And so, just, again, looking for that balance. Again, not everything has to be perfectly balanced every single time. Again, penalties super low this year. It's been even harder this year to get penalties anywhere near really where they need to be. So that's definitely a struggle. Yearly awards, I think there's only a couple that the Lions are really up for. I don't think Galladay's on this list. But if we go to NFC, Galladay's not there either. We have Offensive Rookie of the Year with Swift. I mean, I think that's going to be a lock, it looks like. Okuda is moving up. Okuda is 6th in Defensive Player, Rookie of the Year. Best Receiver, Kenny Galladay is up there. So even with our team struggling, he's been really, really good for us. And so, yeah, that's probably about it. Prater, top 5 for NFC kickers. But let's check in with the chat. We'll take a look at scouting here as well. Hey, Don, I'm holding up well. How are you holding up? Cam has COVID. They might need to cancel the season. Oh, geez, that's rough. I didn't hear about that. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what they want to do. This season won't be canceled. We are moving on. So let's take a look. First, I guess we can look at the standings. Lions are, of course, out of the playoff run here, 5-9. In typical Lion fashion, they'll probably finish 7-9, miss the playoffs, get a crummy draft pick. But in Madden, that's not a terrible thing, because a lot of those like X Factor players will fall into that mid or late first. That's not always the top guys, which I think is super realistic. So really excited to look at the draft. So let's do that. The only extension we've signed so far, again, Kenny Galladay and Jerron Harmon, as I mentioned. Jalen Maven Reeves I want to bring back as just kind of a backup coverage linebacker. That's probably going to be it. I would like to bring back Marvin Jones Jr., but he wants a 4-year extension. I think at this point, and you'll see why here in a little bit, because we might be looking at receiver pretty early in the draft. But I think I want to just hold off on that for now. He's been a good player. He's 30. He wants $12 million a year. I don't know. I mean, we're also losing Amendola, so I mean, we're going to have holes at wide receiver 2 and 3 that need filling. I went through the league and just kind of looked on the salary list of like who's going to be available as free agents. There's not much there at all. So that gives us a chance. We could at least let Marvin Jones Jr. hit the free agent market, and we could openly negotiate with him and see how that goes. Could also franchise tag him for a year. So for now, I don't want to have to commit to anything. But we've gone through and done a ton of scouting, so I can show you our draft board. And I think right now, we're slotted to be picking 4th right now. And I think if right now I had to make the pick, we haven't seen the combine results, but it probably would be Cassius Ballard here. And he is, he had I think he has like that Olympics, his parents was an Olympic sprinter or something. He's got that storyline. And so that right there has me pretty excited because it sounds like he'll be pretty fast. And here's what's really interesting. He's a deep threat archetype, which is great, but he's got a really, really strong grade for short route running. So, I mean, this tells me this guy is going to be a pretty complete player. He's also going to be pretty fast. And so it makes a lot of sense that he could be a pretty good pick. He does scout out as an early first, but I don't know. This guy can certainly go in the top 3. If you look, they have him actually kind of slotted down here as number 7. So it's certainly possible that he becomes available if and when we pick 4th. There's also Ron Capps, who is a mid-first guy, but he checks out as an early. Again, this guy, also a deep threat. He's got really, really good hands, it looks like. So we'd have to kind of see what his combine numbers look like, because this is a really, really deep receiver draft. And so I don't know if I want to take even a receiver in the first round, unless it's a guy who's like, yeah, this guy's a stud. He's got crazy speed. He can run deep. He can run short. I don't want a guy with just good hands, for instance. I'd like to get that guy later, even if it's not Ron Capps or some other guys who I think kind of fit that mold a little bit. But really, the rest of these are just kind of slotted in the order of their full scouting reports. Like, these guys are all early first, right? There's Taekwon Cadet. I'm not crazy about picking a middle linebacker 4th overall, but we have really, really struggled with linebacker play outside of Jamie Collins. So, hey, that's certainly a possibility. We have Ragnow at center, so we certainly don't need a center, but could Aaron Costello switch over and play guard? I think so. We're going to have our top 3 corners returning next year, so do we need a Tyler Moore? Not necessarily, but we're going to have holes after next year, so it certainly, again, it would not hurt. This guy really checks out. He's a mid-first. So we actually only have about 4 guys who are... he's a mid-first, too. So there's only 3 guys on our list. He's a mid-first. What is going on? So we only have 2 guys who are early first. So maybe the Lions are looking to trade down if need be. So a lot of these guys are going to be later first and so on. First quarterback that pops up, Tyrell Jefferson. He scouted out to us as a late first. Really good arm. Could be, pretty mobile with a break sack of B+. 6'6". So again, we'll have to just see what he looks like. Nick Escobar, same thing, really nice arm, break sack, so it'll be interesting to see his mobility. But those guys are late first. So we have holes at guard, as I mentioned. But if we kind of talk about some sleeper guys who I think could be interesting picks for the Lions, here's one guy. So Jamal McNeil was a 4th round, early 4th projected. When we scouted him, he came out as a late first. This could be a Danny Amendola replacement. This guy, again, slot receiver, perfect. And even though we don't really run an offense that has a slot, I still like to have those guys in place, obviously. I don't want just 6 deep threat wide receivers, and that's all they can do. They're slow and they just run downfield. You want to have a combination of those things, right? And so this guy, he's got really, really good hands. I wish we could see more of his short route running, but we should be able to see some of that with like his agility skills that come out in the combine. So I think Jamal McNeil is a guy we could get maybe in the 4th round. If he really lasts that long, maybe we take him early in the 3rd. It's hard to say. There's a couple defensive tackles who are kind of in similar boats. This guy, again, 5th round pick, came out scouted as a late first. So Bradley Foster, with me wanting to probably switch back to a more traditional sort of like a 4-3 shell, or at least like a 4 defensive lineman nickel. I think, bringing in another defensive tackle is very high on the priority list. So a guy like Bradley Foster, who scouted out really well, could be an option that we get in the mid-rounds. We have another guy here in Linval Becton, be the same thing, a run-stopping defensive tackle, who we could get later on. So this would be really, really good. There's another defensive tackle, though, that I had probably number 1 on my board. I don't know where he went. I'll have to go look for him really quick. So let's see. Some other kind of sleeper guys. Taylor Peters, 4th round talent, but coming out as a late 2nd. So again, I don't know if we're going to have a 4-3 that requires a speed rusher, but this is a really nice guy to get later for, say, 3rd downs. Have him come in and kind of sub out for more of a run defense left end. Let's see. Other sleepers. Oh, here's another sleeper. This is hilarious. This is the one running back I scouted. I've literally scouted 1 running back. We're pretty deep at running back, as you saw. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to waste any points right now, but I really do want to bring in like a more traditional receiving back. So I just kind of scrolled down, and I normally don't even scout 7th round picks, but I was like, well, let's scout this guy. And sure enough, his scouting came back pretty positive, and I kept scouting him, and here he is. So a late 3rd. So this is definitely a guy that we could consider grabbing. We'd use our 4th round pick on him at best. I don't think I'd use a 3rd to stretch for essentially a 3rd string running back on our team. But I thought that was pretty cool, because really, if he's slotted to be a mid-7th, I probably will grab him in the 6th or 7th round, especially if he's a mid-7th. So if this guy's available in the 7th round, obviously he would be a really, really nice pick for the Lions. He'd fill a hole, and not so much a hole, but definitely give us a little bit more diversity with our running backs. Let's see. What else is... Oops, I need to go to our draft board. So down that way. Oh yeah, okay. So these guys, I forgot to slot these guys as well. So these are guys that I scouted this week who came back. So we have another early first here, Kareem Childs. Again, defensive tackle. He's not a run stopper, but hey, it never hurts to have some pass rush up the middle. So I can tell you right now, like Kareem Childs, I would he's 1A or 1B. It'd be one of these two guys if we had to pick right now. Because I definitely want to get a strong defensive tackle. I might put the receiver above him just because I know we have some tackles later. There's those 2 tackles I could probably get in the mid-rounds. And it just depends. Like if Cassius Ballard is just you can't miss. He's just so athletic and is able to get downfield and things like that. I mean, you can't really pass on a guy like that. At the same time, I mean, especially in Madden, having a dominant, and in the NFL, you see with Aaron Donald, having a dominant defensive tackle is so important in this game. So, I mean, both of these guys would be really, really, really great picks. And so either one of them were to fall, we'd be all over it. And so, I might even put Kareem Childs, honestly, above Ballard at this point. So some other guys, we have a speed rusher, Tony Henson. He checks out as an early. This would be really kind of forcing our hand a little bit to adjust our defense. But again, same thing. If we switched over to, I'm going to put them like that, just based on their grades. If we switched over to a 4-3 that used the speed rusher, of course, Tony Henson would be a really wise pick there. So, again, those guys are in the mix. And I think the last guy here we took a look at, Kyle Gibbons, another speed rusher. He's also an early first. But because he's slotted to go a little bit later, probably put him at the bottom here of these early first guys. Yeah, he's a mid, and then Ron was a early. Yeah. So there's some options. I mean, either any of these 3 guys, like you can literally build your team around, right? I mean, a dominant Aaron Donald potential defensive tackle, probably not going to be that good. Tony Henson, I mean, just 6'5", 241, excellent pursuit on both these defensive linemen. This guy could come in and really be a difference maker in a team that's lacks speed rush. Again, he'd be a defensive lineman for us. And of course, Cassius Ballard, who could be a real dynamic wide receiver. So anyway, that's what's going on there as far as scouting. So we have a lot of options, which is good. We have 6 picks. We don't have actually a 7th round pick. So then I think about that running back. We would need to grab him in the 6th round there. So yeah, I'm going to check with the chat. We're going to jump into gameplay here. We got a pretty tough matchup this week. Thanks, Don. Don says he loves the MLB sliders. Yeah, appreciate it. Let me know how the Madden sliders are going for you. What's up, Ravens? So I guess as we jump into this game, I mean, it's weird because, hey, what's it matter? We're 5-9, but I do try to win these games. I think it's important. If you've noticed in Madden, players have like a confidence level. So if you just kind of click in and if we take a look here at some confidence, where are they this year? Well, they used to have it. Where did it go? Oh, there it is, morale, right? So see on the left there, it says morale. Matthew Stafford is 47, which is not impacting his overall. So, but if you keep losing, that stuff can really have a negative impact. It can also have a positive impact. So he's got 64. Again, it's also not really impacting things, but he's obviously trending upwards. He's had a really nice year. And so, you just want to kind of keep an eye on those things because they can certainly impact the way you play. And if you have a whole team that's, really struggling, like he hasn't had any playing time here. So His is just sitting at 50, but it can impact things, and that's where you start to see maybe momentum, or if your team's like, I don't understand, they're playing so bad. That's sort of one of those under the hood things that can happen to your team. So point being is we still want to try to win these games. This week's matchup, Tampa Bay's got a pretty good defense. They have a really good defensive line. If we just really quick take a look at their chart. On offense, the biggest thing they have, of course, they have two just dynamic receivers, and they have Tom Brady, of course. So trying to stop their pass game is going to be of utmost importance. See, of course, Brady. Fournette's no slouch. They got a couple good running backs there. But these guys are going to be a handful. I mean, just absolute handful. It's going to be very, very tough to cover them. Not to mention they have a 92 tight end in Gronkowski. Some decent interior linemen, left guard, center. They have some holes in the line too. Their defensive line, old. They got Ndamukong Suh. Old, but some good guys on the defensive line. They got some good linebackers. So again, a pretty solid defense, and just a very scary passing offense. So their secondary is a little bit weak, right? That's maybe the one weakness on their defense. And so what I ended up doing, I started taking over training myself. I know I mentioned on earlier streams that I let the coach do it, but we're going to be getting rid of Coach Patricia here at the end of the year. So I've taken it more upon myself to call my own plays, to pick the training, but I do still simulate the training. So that's why you're seeing the bronzes here, and that just helps you keep pace with the AI team so your team's not progressing too fast. But we are going to be preparing for cover 3 defense, simply because it looks like they play quite a bit of cover 3. Actually, why did I did pick cover 3 for, I'm sorry, cover 2. We're going to attack their cover 2 because it looks like they use it almost half the time. And the cover 3 is what we're going to use for our defense, really. I mean, just not going to try to run with those guys man to man. With the cover 3, it's going to kind of just be keeping someone above, the 2 receivers and the tight end, and just try to clog up the rest of it with the 4 guys underneath in the middle. So that's the game plan. We'll see. But it could definitely be tough. So broadcast camera, All-Madden sliders. Again, the only adjustment I have that's not up on Operation Sports right now, if you want to just take a glance here at the sliders, is punt power. I have up to 60. That's the only change right now. And again, just experimenting with that. I think what I'll be probably working on next, as you saw when we went over some of like the team statistics or the player statistics, especially on defense, it's probably lowering pass defensive reaction time a little bit. But I'm not sold on that just yet because it's playing pretty well. And what was the other thing? Run blocking. Possibly lowering run blocking a little bit again for the AI. So, and that's to hopefully get a little bit more tackles coming from your defensive linemen, but I think that's more just a Madden problem. It's just kind of to get that proper balance of run yards and to make them a threat. You can't have too many, busted blocks basically in offense. So, yeah, let's jump in. We can probably skip over the intro. By the way, if you want to know how I'm switching to the broadcast camera to use it during gameplay, go check episode 1 of this series. It's the very first thing I do. I'm in practice mode. I show you exactly how to do it. It's like second nature at this point now. I actually feel weird the times when I come back in. Like I said, I load a game like during lunch or something like that, where I jump in like to the middle of the second quarter. It defaults you back to the standard camera, and I almost feel lost. It's like, oh, what am I doing here? But the broadcast camera has been phenomenal. Oops, that's a terrible play ball.
We've got the gift of the NFL as we're underway here in Week 16. Pulls it in at the 13. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here.
2 more games, and it'll be the offseason for the Lions. We need an offseason. We got to get rid of this coach.
In season number 21, his first, of course, in Tampa, the great Tom Brady.
If you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you have a chance to get Tom Brady, you take that opportunity, even though Jameis Winston is your quarterback last year, threw for over 5,100 yards, but he also threw 30 interceptions. Tom Brady threw just 8 in New England last season.
Cover 3.
They figured that can be the difference to get that team into the playoffs and maybe back to the Super Bowl.
Well, throwing here to start the drive as they connect left side. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. An early statement on the game's first play. 18 yards and a first down. That time is Brady in general on those quick hitters. He just releases the ball so fast.
He does, and he's so accurate, but most of the time, he wins before the ball's even snapped by his pre-snap read. Finds out where the defense is and delivers it to the proper place.
So one play, and they're already just shy of midfield. On the ground, this is Leonard Fournette. And flags come in as he gets forward for about 3 yards. Now let's check on the call.
You're going to see a lot of block in the back penalties. It's one of the only ones they'll call like a decent consistency. So I mentioned in the slider thread, you know, just try to think of it more of a way, like just to get penalty yardage accurate. Don't worry so much about what penalty is being called. You can pretend that's a holding call or whatever.
Brady gives this one off to Jones. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. It's a loss of a yard there, and it's second down.
Sometimes that's the danger of putting that jumbo set out there. You just get a lot of bodies massed in one location. You can wind up with 18, 20, maybe even all 22 in the box, and there's nowhere to run the football.
I'm going to switch to nickel at this point.
Back quite a ways here, facing 2nd and 19. Shotgun now for Brady. He gets it into the hands of Gronkowski, complete. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up third down. But the Brady-Gronk connection, certainly something to watch here with the Bucs in 2020. Of Tom Brady's 541 touchdown passes coming into 2020, Gronk's 78 were the most of any receiver. He's got his running back, LaShawn McCoy. And they will advance this across midfield, but still well shy of a first as he's tackled at the 47. They'll get 11, but it'll still lead to a 4th down.
That's certainly playing down in distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath by all means.
We're going to actually go safe man here because probably going to punt it towards the end zone anyway.
Back deep, Danny Amendola.
I caught them on a fake one time. I think it was the last game, actually. They ran a fake field goal, and we had it covered.
And they'll say it crosses at the 11-yard line. The Lions making their way out, led by their 32-year-old quarterback. Hard to believe he's in season number 12 now in a Detroit uniform. Quarterback Matthew Stafford.
That was a solid performance last week, wasn't it? 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, ran the team well, won the ball game. Bottom line, may not have been earth-shattering, but it didn't need to be.
Now a 1st and 10 at the 11.
No. You're not going to do that.
Picked off there, almost intercepted. Instead, second down.
That would have been bad.
Well, they've got man coverage on the outside, and my scouting report on these DBs tells me that they love to take matters in their own hands. They want man coverage, not zone. And there was good coverage there that forced the incompletion.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down.
Ooh, messing it all up today. There we go.
Throwing again.
What in the heck? That's so weird.
As he throws there, incomplete.
Like the game just literally just threw that for me.
And it's third down.
Well, so far in this drive, they've done some good work.
Alright guys, that's super weird. I've never had that. Like it literally, maybe I had to snap the ball and hit the button too many times or something, but like it just threw it as soon as I snapped it. I'm lucky it wasn't intercepted. Alright, well, like I said, there's an adjustment period.
Do they bring pressure or do they play coverage on this down?
Throwing on third down, Stanford. That's complete to Swift out of the backfield. And he's going to be marked down short of the first down, right around the 17. That one good for only 6, and it leaves him with a fourth down.
There's an example of good situational football being played by a defense. They understood where the third down play was, the down and distance, and made sure that they didn't get anywhere near that, bring up fourth down.
Gotta be really careful to make sure you punt either at or past that power line, or the accuracy line. If you go before it, that's what happens. Alright, so we're off to a rough start with some of the finer details of the game this week. That's okay. I think it's important to show some of the struggles. We're also the Lions, so I mean, this is normal.
The first carry for Leonard Fournette. And he's going to be taken down with a marker on the field. So let's see about the call. What you talking about, ref? So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating? The guys who just gave up that play.
From the shotgun, it's a give to McCoy. They'll get this up to the 34. The good line opening up right away for it. That's good for a Buccaneer first, a pickup of 12 yards. That O-line, they cleared a big hole there on that run.
The athleticism of offensive lines continues to evolve, and we're seeing it here. Not only are they controlling things right at the line of scrimmage, but they're able to get upfield to get to what we call the second and the third levels. You know, get to the linebacker spot, the secondary spot, getting all the way downfield with their blocking, which helps keep the running back clean.
They'll try to continue that trend here this afternoon. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you go the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield. When you get a big tight end like this, sometimes it takes more than one man to bring him down. Oftentimes, your best bet, just jump on and hold on and wait for your teammates to arrive to help get him on the ground.
From the 2, here's first and goal. They'll try to punch it in with Fournette. And he'll actually lose a little bit of yardage here. Back to the 2. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers who brought a little bit of speed and heft, and able to really make a big-time play for their defense.
They'll give Fournette another crack, and this will result in
a couple play predictions there I just got lucky on, because if they pass on either of those,
that's going to lead to a third down.
It's an easy touchdown.
I don't know how much running backs love getting the ball down near the goal line. They think they're going to find a way into the end zone. He hasn't had that kind of luck so far. Ends up not getting in on the last 2 carries. You know he's going to be upset about a missed opportunity.
A big play forthcoming. Here's third and goal.
I'm going to go pass here and see how it goes.
Brady going to throw. Godwin's got it. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Chris Godwin, his 11th touchdown of the year. And the Bucs have taken a first quarter lead. On those slants, everything happens so quickly. What makes it work?
The timing between the passer and the receiver. In this case,
what's Coleman doing? He's got his back turned in man coverage.
In this amount of time, I think it was a 2-step deal. Boom, put his foot in the ground and got inside for the pass.
Got inside for the pass, got inside for the catch and the score.
I haven't blocked a kick all year.
And that one gives
It's probably a good thing. It's been a little bit overpowered since they reintroduced it, or introduced it. Oh, he gave him a short field. Bad punt.
Now it's Ryan Suckup on after the touchdown to kick it away. Danny Amendola on the return. And taken down just past the 20 and about the 21-yard line.
Gotta be better on offense here.
The Lions offense heading out as we give you a look at the playoff race coming into the weekend in the NFC. And with the final fortnight of games upon us, teams jockeying for position. Some of these games really starting to take enormous importance as they always do this time of year.
I like how you use fortnight.
You're impressed, aren't you?
I am impressed. That means 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That does.
But how about exactly what you're talking about? Going down the stretch, how much importance is placed on these games? Look, everyone's talking about every game's important.
Oh, threw off the back foot. What is going on here today? I think that was one of those like designed rollout things though, and I didn't let him set his feet. I thought it was just a simple play action. Yeah, that's what it was. I didn't realize he was doing this little dance thing over here. Good grief. Off to a rough start with Stafford this week.
Their last push to get into the playoffs.
From the 21, it's 2nd and 10. A first carry now. This is Johnson. And a short gain there as he'll get it up only to about the 24. He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead.
Well, that's a good start to this drive on the defensive side of the ball.
Forcing completion on first down. Then you're able to shut down the running play on second.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised now. A little bit of pressure going at the quarterback in the expected passing situation.
To throw on 3rd down. Stafford. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Stafford to Jones, enough for a Lion first down.
Well, remember, they tried to give him the ball and let him run on the last play, but I think the light bulb went off in their play caller's mind, and this time, they get it to him the more conventional way, and it's much more successful as well.
Blew that up.
And this time they were waiting for him as he'll be knocked out before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. Plays like we just saw there. That's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say, we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game. And that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage. When you run a screen pass really well, you got to like the look of it, because so many parts come together to make it work well. The offensive linemen, where they're faking people out, the back slipping out there, catching the football, then all of them going together as one unit down.
Hey, we'll take it.
Nice pickup.
He needed a yard. That's exactly what he got. Earns him a new set of downs.
On 3rd and 1, it seems natural to just turn and hand it to the biggest guy you have in the backfield. But usually, he's not the primary runner. So for the defense, they're often keying on the running back, because he's the guy who gets the ball more often, and the fullback is the blocker. When he ends up carrying the football, that's a heck of a tendency breaker, and they're just trying to jump on his back and hold on.
Man.
So apparently some grabbing there in the middle of the O-line.
I wonder why that doesn't happen more often for guys that play center. Having to snap the ball and then trying to get your hands into the proper position, that's difficult to do. He got caught that time.
Following the penalty, it's Johnson. And he takes it past the 45 and down at the 46. Give him 5 yards there, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
All right, Brand, I know we're in the early going here, but those kind of runs, they're going to open up a world of opportunities for this offense going forward.
Second and 12. Here's Stafford.
This
is incomplete.
That was weird. That was supposed to go to Galladay, and Marvin Jones like put his hands up. He was just trying to get him to clear. Oh, the defender got it. My bad. I thought it was Marvin Jones. Yikes. It's one of those Madden interceptions almost. Yeah, I was just trying to put it in that open space right over there. See if Galladay would have ran through that zone.
Galladay, the Pro Bowler, was his intended target. And it's third down.
Switch to this camera to look at the safeties sometimes to see where they're sitting.
Out of the gun, Stafford.
Ah.
And that is incomplete. So 2 third-down conversions on this drive, but not able to get a third, and now they deal with fourth down.
Brandon, we saw these defenders flying to the football in their
Gosh,
win
another
last week,
crummy
and
punt.
nothing has changed. They're still moving around quickly and forcing incompletions.
That'll go down as just a 20-yard punt, and the Bucs will get ready to go on offense. Now the Buccaneer offense set to take over again. The partner just looking at some of the struggles they've had this season. The playoffs are not in their future. As they start to peer toward the offseason, what moves might they make?
I think the running.
Heavy sack.
Pressure, he's brought down. Trey Flowers has now recorded 10 sacks on the season.
2 sacks last week, another one right here. He's been unblockable lately, and I think that goes all the way back to not just his offseason, but the film study he's been doing during the week, because I think he's found matchups that he likes, and he's capitalizing.
Well, a few times he's even defeated double teams. He doesn't care at this point.
Whoa.
Pressure comes, and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9.
So, Brandon, we've sat in with a lot of coaches, and when they talk about things they want to accomplish offensively, I'm not sure that sack and sack are on their play sheet.
After the sack, they'll come up now, 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
And the throw there going to be incomplete.
I'll tell you what, these last couple of drives, much better from a defensive perspective. They gave up a touchdown on the opening drive, and then after forcing a punt on their last possession, it looks like they're going to get the football back again.
The punt team on now as Pinion sends this one away.
Very short field here, so.
40-yard punt, 9 on the return. And the Lions will have excellent field position here as they take over 1st and 10. And Detroit getting set to go now. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a 1st down and change our momentum?
From the 39-yard line, here comes 2nd down and 6. They stay on the ground. This time it's Johnson. And a nice run. They're going to take this close to the 1st down marker at the Bucs 31. That one,
I always try to focus on the running back that kind of seems to have the hotter hand. And for the 2nd straight week here, it seems like it's Kerryon Johnson so far.
He's been dinged up a little bit in his first 2 years in the NFL, so they went out and used a day 2 pick this past year on DeAndre Swift, the rookie runner out of Georgia, hoping, I think, to pair them together and maybe send a message. But I think if Kerryon Johnson can stay on the field, he could be an awfully productive back in the NFL.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, it's Swift. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Levante David, the Bucs' leading tackler a season ago, in on the stop. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. try the air now with Stafford. The killer here, it's complete. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face third down. Heavy set out there on 3rd and 1. They'll try and run here with Swift. And he gets this down to the 18. Good enough for a first down. 5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive. Well, they gave themselves options there on the 3rd down play and were able to convert on that RPO.
Shows a lot of trust with the guy taking the snap, doesn't it? Because you're counting on him to make the right reads and give the ball where it's supposed to go. And he did on that play.
And this one caught on the sideline, but they say already out of bounds. And the throw didn't give him a chance to turn it upfield, and that brings up 2nd down.
Certainly appeared to take away his first read, and by the time he tried to look elsewhere and find an open target, the coverage was too good. That one falls incomplete.
On 2nd down, Swift. Touchdown, Detroit. DeAndre Swift, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Lions are an extra point away from tying this thing up.
I can't help it, partner. I love backs who have a lot of burst.
Yeah, they ran the toss play. By the way, sometimes you'll hear toss and pitch used interchangeably, but that was the toss.
Well, for me, a toss,
Oh my gosh. I can't kick today. I don't know if it's the broadcast. I don't think the broadcast screen is creating lag or something.
Option type play, and you pitch it out there to the trailing back.
Goes end over end like a field goal.
You turn it over, make sure
Having all kinds of problems kicking today. Now I'm waiting too long, but that's better than being short.
Even at 7 now as they kick it away. Taken about 7 yards deep, and it'll come out to the 25 as he will not attempt to return. Back now comes Tampa Bay.
Oh, took advantage of a short field. Line's tied up.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency. Move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. They'll start the drive with a carry by McCoy. And he's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
From the gun, it's Brady. He finds his tight end, Howard. That's complete. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
No. So there's the L1 button that kind of like, I forget what they even call it, but like it like takes over, you know, lets the AI kind of take over your player. So you can see the middle linebacker I'm highlighted has. And I have man coverage on the running back. So I try to clog up the middle a little bit. I know he's floating out there, but I know I have some time to get out there. So here I am going out there, and because it's a little bit off camera at this point in the broadcast view, I hit L1, thinking it'll just kind of, you know, bring him up and square him up, and instead it runs him out there, like back in the pass coverage. So it's got to be careful on some of those. No, it's just a goofy thing. But again, if I just ran up there and, you know, hard pursued that guy off camera, I might not line him up at all. So
3 tight ends in the ball game here on 1st and 10. Here's a give to Fournette. And he'll be brought down at about the 42. And Justin Coleman brings him down.
Well, sometimes you just have to give credit to the defense. Great job there at the point of attack, holding up. They won their battles at the line of scrimmage, left him no space to try and run. A really nice job swinging to the ball carrier.
Oh my gosh.
This one complete downfield on the left side. And it's going to be another first down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions' 13-yard line. That one covers 29 yards. First down.
Thanks.
Well, that certainly has to feel good. It's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
Looking for Godwin, and he's got him complete.
11
and
of
he'll
12.
get it here to the 10-yard line. 3 yards the gain there, second down.
That's part of Madden, really. I mean, you'll get a quarterback who just gets into a rhythm, and it happens. I mean, I've seen a game where the quarterback was like 29 of 30 on the entire game.
The defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
They try to cover this guy now. Yeah, that didn't go well. Yeah, that was my bad coverage there.
Touchdown. Scotty Miller, his first touchdown on the year. And the Bucs have taken the lead.
An excellent, long, sustained offensive drive. And now they can look across the field and see a defense that looks a little bit beaten down. Right now, as an offensive coordinator, you're thinking to yourself,
just practicing for next year.
The knockout punch.
Extra point up and good by Suckup. And that makes the score 14-7. Now it's Ryan Suckup on after the touchdown to kick it away. And they'll get him down right at the 25-yard line, so the same result, and he opted for the touchback. Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field. They trail a one-score deficit, 14-7, as they come up 1st and 10. Now Stanford.
Ooh, nice play.
Johnson. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. Not what they had in mind there. That's going to go as a loss of 4. Got to give some credit there defensively. They snuffed out that screen early on 1st down.
Really read it well, didn't they? Because they didn't bring the pressure that they expected. They covered all the passing lanes. So once you see it break down as the passer, I think in this situation, you're throwing it at the feet of your back to make sure no one picks it off, or you throw it away, throw it over the sideline. Don't.
Oh, he lost the football. Stanford puts it on the ground. Turns it to the end zone. Football carry touchdown for the Bucs. And give some kudos.
I'll look at this replay and see. Seems like our receivers are just running in mud today. It's taking forever to get open. I wanted to try and throw underneath the Swift here is what I started to wind up to do. Like I wanted to try to do back shoulder to him with that linebacker on him. Or he was the safety. So they brought a blitz. Yeah, I should have left some running backs in. It's crazy for bringing in blitz, like no one's open. I mean, even if there was, like, oh yeah, this was picked up, and Galladay's starting to get open there on the kind of right middle. Jeez, yeah, that was just
the defensive coordinator,
nothing there. So,
they dial it up, and it
yeah,
turns into
Lions playing crappy so far.
You actually give kudos to the defense. It is so nice there's such an offensive guy like that. I love it. He dialed things up, and boy, a big play.
Hey, if we want to try to get Cassius Ballard, I mean, these losses won't hurt.
Yeah, do I ever?
So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score.
Now you gotta be really careful because they have full momentum. It's kind of like the old NCAA 14 game. You get a defensive touchdown scored on you, and that momentum meter is like full blast. So, gotta be careful.
Offense ready to take over. And that last possession, really a gut punch. You seemingly had it working. You were in the midst of a very strong drive, and suddenly the fumble.
A very strong drive. We threw an incomplete pass or something like that.
There's not much more I can add to that. I thought you summarized it perfectly, partner. You just got to regroup and start putting another drive.
There you go.
That's all you can do.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. This drive starting off on the right foot, 18 yards.
I'm okay with the call there. In fact, I actually like it. I know they're down a couple of scores, but the running game worked in that situation. I would continue to go in that direction.
They go back to the ground, this time Swift. And he'll take this for about 4 up to the 46-yard line.
Brandon, we just saw the benefits of being able to run the ball successfully. They pick up 4 yards on that carry. So now if you're a play caller, you can do just about anything you want, but on the defensive side of the ball, you scramble a little bit. Now you're behind trying to figure out, do I need to blitz him? Do I need to pressure him? How do I gain an advantage on this snap?
Stafford gives to Johnson on the draw. And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play there, so they're left with a 3rd down and 6.
And there's the anchor of this line, Big Vita Vea on the tackle, former first-round pick in his 3rd season now out of the University of Washington.
The Lions on 3rd down. They've converted 3 out of 5 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. From the gun, here's Stafford. He's got his man, T.J. Hockenson. And he has the 1st down yardage before they bring him down right at the 45. Now Stafford.
One block. Damn, in between one block, that would have been a big play.
A good rally to the football keeps him to only a yard, and it's 2nd down.
In order for a screen pass to break big, a lot of things have to come together and be well executed, but all it takes is one small thing to go wrong and keep it from being a big gain.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. Stafford with a play fake to Swift, and he'll set to throw.
Oh, hit it with her. That Galladay, too.
It may have been a fumble.
A lot of times it's that first read that you have. Maybe you get it in pre-snap, and he locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
The Lions on 3rd down. They've converted 4 times out of 6. Not bad. This is 3rd and 9. Throwing again is Stafford. Got a man, it's him and gone. And this is going to lead to another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Bucs' 34-yard line. Give them 10 yards there as this offense is on a roll. This drive continues to plunge forward.
Well, these guys have definitely been outplayed in the 1st half. I like their countenance. I like the way that they're having panicked out there, the way they're carrying themselves. They're starting to move the ball, and what you have to do, maintain your poise and start to put together some drives.
Stafford on 1st down. Underneath for Johnson. And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24.
So many teams want to throw the ball in this situation nowadays, but I love watching a team that has enough confidence to go ahead and run the football. In that situation, that's almost a tendency breaker.
And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this 1st half of action. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
Catch is made by Hockenson, the tight end. And they will eventually get him down, but he's inside the 5 all the way to the 3. An excellent pickup of 20 yards.
Nice job there of utilizing his big target. He didn't overthink it. Understands the catch radius. Understands that he knows how to use his body to keep defenders away from the ball.
We'll get the ball at the half, so I want to run some of this clock.
This is 1st and goal, and a golden chance to get a score back here before halftime.
Should be an easy touchdown for carry on here. Unless they shift over and are taking that blitz.
They'll run it with Johnson. And he's going to take it in for a Lion touchdown. Kerryon Johnson, his 5th touchdown now.
That's a big drive for the Lions. Again, having that momentum stacked.
CD for them. This has just been an offensive explosion here in the second quarter.
Yeah, held scoreless in the first quarter. Now they find the end zone again here in the second. Sometimes you just have to have some patience. A lot of people think it's always an adjustment. You have to change what you're doing. Sometimes you just have to do
God, I have to get my kicking under control. It's bad.
I think that's part of what we're seeing here.
Extra
Good job, Lowe.
the upright a bit, but he gets it to go. And they're back within a touchdown at 21-14.
Good ball at the half. So, I mean, if we can somehow slow down Tom Brady, that would be very helpful.
Touchdown out is Prater to kick. Fielded near the back of the end zone. And no effort.
You guys are quiet. What's going on? You guys tried broadcast mode yet?
And Tampa Bay trots out there.
You guys through your first season yet?
Still more than a minute to go, so
I'll be finishing the first season today, I think. So probably stream the Week 17 game. And it's time to restack the Lions here.
Without those timeouts, you can only work the sidelines, hoping to get out of bounds. Here, the middle of the field is still available because you can call timeout and regroup.
On 1st and 10, here's Brady. That's complete to his running back, Evans. This will be stopped.
I'm not calling a timeout.
Shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
They're also not hurrying.
Here's a 2nd and 2 now from the 33.
Now they call a timeout. I've noticed that's a weird. Like, why would they call the timeout after the clock is ran?
Seconds to go in the first half. Ahead of the chains now, 2nd and 2. Working from the gun, it's Brady. That's caught by Howard. And at a 42-yard line here and brought down there.
I think it's just that the 1 minute mark is when they kind of start activating their we need to take a timeout mechanism, I guess.
Good plays have them on the move on 1st down. Operating from the gun. Brady. Throw left side complete. That's McCoy.
15 of 16. I mean, come on.
3 yards the gain there, 2nd down. That 1st down completion only netted him 3. 2nd and 7. Now Brady again. Keeps himself upright. And he can't get away forever, and down he goes. Jamie Collins.
I'll take that.
Came in there hard on the blitz.
There's no way I'm calling a timeout for these guys.
Behind the line of scrimmage.
So this has been a lot like a tennis match, hasn't it? Back and forth. Both of these offenses having their way so far. So maybe the question isn't who's going to score the most points in this game. Maybe it's who's going to get some stops.
Yeah, absolutely. And that sack, finally a first step in the right
Come on,
direction
guys.
for a stop. And he'll be taken down.
All right, we get ball. See how it goes.
Enemy territory. We have hit halftime. Still 2 more quarters to go. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back after this. You're watching the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. It's in the game.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. The weather might be cold, but the playoff races are heating up here on this final Sunday before Christmas. So let's get to it. We'll start up at TIAA Stadium in Jacksonville. And as they approach halftime, it's the Bears who are out in front.
12-15. It looks like he's playing a head-to-head game.
From there, let's head off and check out a second game. And they've got the lead in their ball game over the visiting Carolina
Haskins
Panthers.
15 of 17. See, it's not just played games. Bridgewater 3 of 9. What the hell?
Finally, let's get down to the Bayou. Check on the Saints at home at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. And they were winners in that one
Vikings
over
are
the
terrible.
visiting Minnesota Vikings.
Worse record than we do right
Drew
now.
Brees, excellent in the W, as his guys get victory number 12 on the year. Meanwhile, in our game, no shortage of offense as each team been able to move the ball effectively. Will the defenses show up in the second half?
It'll be Lions football to start the second half, and they trail here as we get back underway on EA Sports. Now Amendola. And he won't quite make it to the 25.
Good shot, good shot.
The Lions offense now with a football first here to begin quarter number 3. They're down here, but Very much in this game. What's the tonality of a coach's talk when a game is within striking distance like this again, Rich?
Typically, what they're doing is emphasizing the things that went well in the first half and wanting more of that. Sure, you've got to go over some of the errors and clean up some things because there's a reason you're down. But overall, I think they want to stay positive, stay up with this team. We're just starting the second half, and we've got the football. Let's go ahead and punch it in, and then we'll take it from there.
See how that recipe works. So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. Stafford. It's caught outright Amendola. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. Just his second catch of the game so far. This one moves the chains.
But one of the ways the quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
On first down, Stafford here. Flushed out right, and he just gets rid of it, throws it away. The lines move there, look like nobody open, now 2nd down.
Well, defensively, they haven't let him just sit in the pocket and get comfortable, and that's opposite a lot of game plans in today's NFL. Ordinarily, you're trying to keep the quarterback hemmed in. In this case, they brought the heat, and if he flushes out, they're fine with that, and they force another incompletion.
On 2nd down, Swift. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. Give him 14 on that one and a first down.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Well, I think after that run, the defense is getting back in the huddle and looking at each other and maybe starting to question their confidence a bit. They gave up a significant run, 6 yards, and now you're saying to yourself, how do we stop them, and do I have enough confidence to make a play?
From the 44, Stafford is going to let this go for the end zone.
Mm.
And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there, trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down.
And those two just haven't been in sync thus far. They've done a nice job against him, but still, with his talent, you would expect them to have more completions to him in this game.
From the gun on 3rd down, Stafford. And that one goes in.
Damn, what the hell happened there? Oh, dude. Killer drop. He wants an extension for 4 years? Come on.
On the drop. That's one he definitely normally catches. 4th down. Matt Patricia, he says now's the time. His guys are going to go for it on 4th. Here we go on 4th. Stafford.
Oh, 50% there. Good for Stafford.
Again, we see Tom Brady and the Bucs set to take over.
Now, that's just simply good coaching and excellent technique on that play. You know why? Because everyone wants to rush the passer when they want to throw the football, but you're not always going to get there. So what are you taught to do? When the ball's finally thrown, get your hands up in the passing lanes.
Oh, my gosh. 16 of 17 with that play.
That's good concentration right there, and he did a nice job of adjusting to the ball in the air. And it certainly doesn't hurt that at 6'5", he's got a big wingspan that allows him to go up and complete that play.
Oof, kudos.
Now a chance to make that big play really hurt. It's 1st and goal just outside the 5. They'll try and run for it with Fournette. And a minuscule gain of maybe a yard from the 6 to the 5. Be interesting to see now what they do offensively down near the goal line after not much there that time.
As the offensive play caller, that may change your sequence.
Gronkowski, man-to-man here. Let's see what I do.
Running play, you may have to go to the air.
And the hole closes quickly here. He can fight only to about the 4.
That call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short gain.
Oh my gosh.
It in. Touchdown, Bucks. Mike Evans, his 6th touchdown of the season, and the Bucks are going to add on to their lead.
Wow.
Partner, they had a good lead as they went in at the half, and they came out here in the second half and found a way to extend it. I love their consistency. Don't worry about what they said at halftime. This seemed like a team that was ready to play 60 minutes, and while this game is far from over, I love their approach.
And there's going to be a stoppage here. The booth wants to take another look at this potential touchdown.
Ooh, out of bounds. One. Oh, here's that. Probably a touchdown.
They had to go to the monitor, get an extra look. That's what the technology is for. And this touchdown will count. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. Now it's Ryan Suckup on
5 for 5.
after the touchdown to kick it away.
They've only scored 4 touchdowns.
Now in the
Oops.
goal. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. And Detroit getting set to go now. And last time this unit was out here, costly turnover, and then that turned into 6 points. They've got to make amends.
And how many times have we sat in meetings with coaches and they use the term complementary football? Offense take care of the defense, defense take care of the offense.
Oh, the Buccaneer pressure too much. Down he goes. Vita
Had the running back in the flat. I couldn't get the throw off.
Sack number 6 now for him on the year. Well, you don't usually get a sack from a nose tackle spot, but we got one there.
No, we don't, and a lot of the times in passing situations, they end up off the field anyway. So how happy was he to work his way back to the quarterback and put him on the ground? He's going to end up with a nickname after something like that, some Big Jelly or something like that.
To try again after the sack. Stafford.
Yeah, terrible throw.
Incomplete. Too much.
And I totally misread that. I thought that was man coverage. They played a zone on that. That's nobody. No. Henry Jones might have been. Yeah.
Contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down. This offense in desperate need
Try to
of
give us a little
conversion
space
as they
here.
come up on 3rd down. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this 3rd quarter. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. A shotgun snap for Stafford. Throwing deep for Galladay. They can't quite pick it. No interception
Less than 50% completion of there.
First, but
Let's see if anything is even open on that play. I thought that safety was going to start to follow. I mean, he did for a second. I think one of the issues with Madden, right? Like, so you make this read here, like you see that the safety, it's like, okay, clearly he's going to be locking on to Amendola here. And, you know, of course, when the ball's thrown, guys will switch, but like, it's still like a little bit too omniscient, right? Like, they know every little thing. And I guess, yeah, I mean, he's looking back, I guess, but like just that immediate like break off, like, I just don't know if a human would react that way, right? Like, I feel like he would probably follow him at least a little bit longer. And so when you see that when you're playing, you think like, all right, well, he's got single coverage. Like, if I can get that ball there for that other, even that other safety still got over. So, but to have like three guys in that mix just seems like a little bit too much. But Marvin Jones had good coverage over on him. And like, if you threw that to Amendola, you know, this guy's going to break over. This guy's going to definitely break over. So it's just weird. I've talked before, like, you know, open in Madden and open, or not even open, but just like a play that you can, I can't even see the kick meter here. A play that you can make in Madden. This is quite the Madden game today.
So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Buccaneer offense will be set up well as they take over. Here comes the Tampa Bay offense now.
Well, there's something they need to fix is you can't see the damn punt meter.
First and 10. And for them, a touchdown their last go around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
So that one will be accepted.
It's a terrible game. I always play so terrible when I'm streaming this series.
After the penalty, it's 4 down.
Like, I can't kick today, and I do wonder if that's just from the having it streaming and it creating some kind of lag or something.
I remember a coaching friend of mine used to tell his running backs before games, make sure you run and jog with your offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking when those big behemoths start to create space for you up front. He did a pretty good job of just following those guys through there for a nice explosive run.
2 yards, good enough for a first. Fournette, a first down carry. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. No gain on the play there, second down.
That celebration makes a lot of sense.
We always know that he is tough and run support, and I think the way that he gets there is he understands what an offense is going to do before the ball's even snapped. A great job of scouting prior to the game, then reading, reacting, and taking the right path to the backfield.
And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. Now they'll have it first and goal following that gain of 17. Shotgun now for Brady. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
Wow.
Gronkowski unable to hang on, but it'll be second and goal. Another shot from the 9 on second and goal. Now Brady. And he's in the end zone. Touchdown, Buccaneers. The 4th touchdown pass in the game for Tom Brady as the Buccaneers tack on to their lead.
That drive that really increased their cushion felt very military to me. Very precise, methodical, as one of the
They're
words you've taught me.
kicking our ass.
And they just got it done.
And slowly but surely now starting to pull away a little bit. Things looking good for them here in the third quarter.
They're a good team. I mean, we're not, so. It doesn't help, too, when I've had like 3 punts that have gone 20 yards, so.
Now it's Ryan Suckup on after the touchdown to kick it away. Now Amendola. And beyond the 20, but not by much.
Couldn't miss that one guy, huh? I let the AI do the kick return, as I've mentioned before. Hard to see on the broadcast.
And as this offense makes their way back
No.
out, NFC playoff race time, we give you a look at what's going on there. Stafford and the Lions now have it first and 10 at their own 22. They're down 3 touchdowns to this point, needing to put something together as they have it first and 10. And a scary incompletion.
I can't even complete anything right now.
Instead, second down.
From the snap, he certainly looked like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but surprise, that guy was covered. So that took his attention elsewhere.
Well, he's covered in Madden. But I mean, that's single coverage with a really good receiver. It's just the corner breaks for, like, so when this ball's thrown, I mean, again, like, and I get it, they've had to kind of, like, make the defense a little bit more aggressive because just the way people play online. But, like, this ball's thrown, and, like, why does the defender break for the ball more than the receiver? Like, the receiver just sticks to his route, makes no adjustment. The defender does make an adjustment. But if all things are equal, he should be able to get into the inside, box him out. He's a big physical receiver, right? That's his game. Box him out and come down with that ball. Or at least get your hands on it. Like, the fact that he doesn't even get his hands on it, that's an issue with the way Madden has handled coverage. And this is with things toned down as far as the sliders go. So, yeah, I mean, he wasn't wide open, but for a receiver, the way he plays, and Dole was covered. I mean, yeah, that's the right read on that play. No one else is even remotely open. He's got a safety over the top. He's covering the flat. No one's open. That's by far the most open receiver. Again, if that's what's tough with men, right? Is you make some of those like mental assumptions, like, okay, and again, real life, I'm gonna throw this to Kenny Galladay and expect him to get in and box him out. So yeah, I don't know.
To no avail.
That's my answer. I'm sticking to it. God. Oh, the Lions. This game almost over?
Expected from the visiting team when playing indoors, but not the home team.
They're supposed to get all the advantages, right? The home crowd's supposed to help them. They forgot where they were, perhaps.
So after the penalty, heading in the wrong direction, 2nd and 15.
Come on, get it.
That one good for 14 yards. And that is going to set up a 3rd and 1. So from 2nd and long, now we go to 3rd and very manageable.
Yeah, they love that phrase, don't they? Because as an offensive coordinator, you can keep people a little bit off balance in guessing because you don't have to throw it. You can come back with a strong run game if you want to. And if you're in 4-down territory, that really opens things up for you.
Call it a gain of 5 as they move the sticks. That right there, a good sign for a team that's had trouble converting 3rd down so far this year. They're in the bottom 5 in the NFL, but they come through there.
Yeah, and I bet if we put our guy Marvin on the case and say, Marvin, tell us where they rank on 3rd and what, right? I bet they're in the top 5 in the league on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 or more, because that's how you end up not converting. Just too much yardage to pick up on 3rd down.
They'll try again from the 36 on 2nd and 10. To throw again, Stafford.
Dude, just catch the ball and run, man.
They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Out of the gun, Stafford.
There we go.
Down, but not before he works it past the 50.
So there wasn't quite a box out there, but that play, had a more realistic break where he did post himself up for that catch.
We'll be right back.
We're not going to win. We got to stay a little bit balanced here.
So from Buccaneer territory now,
Try to put some drives together.
At the 47.
What's the other safety? I think you can stay in block.
Stafford looks to throw again.
That's nothing.
Eluding the pressure right. And he'll toss this one incomplete. Seeing no out.
Both safeties dropped back, and neither guy really got around. Yeah, and the coverage is there, and coverage is everywhere. There's just no safe throw. Stafford doesn't have the wheels to move in this game, so.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Throwing again. Stafford.
Any flag on us, huh?
Flag is down in the backfield. Let's get the call.
I don't think the game knows how to throw 2 flags, so definitely no point in taking a sack there. Oh man.
They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold. Again, it's Stafford. Over the middle, it's Amendola. And he'll get it down here to the 43.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air. And sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect.
Boy, not true by that at all.
They're going to stop him behind the line. Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's 4th down.
You've got to figure the further they fall behind, the more you think that they'll get away from the run. They're trying to stick with it, but the results, they just aren't there.
And problem spreading to the punt team now. This one goes all the way into the end zone on the fly, so that'll come back to the 20.
Oh, boy.
Tom Brady leads the offense out for their next possession. He has been on his A game. We're in the 3rd quarter. He's already in search of touchdown pass number 5.
He's played
looking for Godwin, but it's intercepted. Picked up by Justin Coleman. And they will finally put it into the return, but not until he takes it back all the way inside the 10-yard line. But they needed a break. They needed to make a play here in the 3rd quarter. Defensively, they did that. Now they got to go quickly and get some points on the board.
And the best part is that they made their own break. Taking the ball away. Now they just look at their offense and say, guys,
let's go.
Come on, capitalize on this one.
Suddenly it's 1st and goal after the interception. A quick change in the situation here.
Whoa. That was crazy. I wonder if that's roughing the passer, though. Yeah. That throw is not accurate at all. Oh, I'll take that.
Wipe out the INT, roughing the passer. What a disaster.
An absolute disaster, and you hope their lockers are not right next to each other for the post game. Safe to say one is not buying the other dinner. Stafford.
Pick off. Terrible throw. I'm just playing like garbage today.
Was trying to get it to, but it'll be 2nd and goal.
But I'm trying to practice my goal line passing.
Last week he hit on over 80% of his passes. This week he's down under 50%. What do you see as the difference?
Well, I think we're used to seeing a drop. If someone's over 80%, they're not going to hold that number, not in this league. But a drop under 50%, that just tells me that the defense has spent a lot of extra time on game films and came up with a really good plan to try and chip away at his timing.
And with the play clock winding down, we're going to get a timeout. And that's going to leave him with just 1 timeout remaining still in the 3rd quarter. We'll see if that comes back to haunt him. We'll be back. Line of scrimmage, again the 4-yard line, 2nd and goal. Stafford now to throw. Looking for Hockenson.
Yeah, he's definitely on the bounds.
TJ Hockenson, his first
Out of bounds, for sure. We need to look. Oh, wow. Yeah, overturned. Oh.
It took them an extra look, but they found out it is a touchdown indeed. The official says this one counts. And the lead will be cut down to 14. Well, they got the ball in great field position. One play later, boom, end zone. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. Taken about 7 yards deep. And he'll just sit on this one as their drive will start at the 25. And here we go again with Tom Brady and Tampa's offense. Really solid effort for him right now. Third quarter, already 4 touchdown passes. How many can he get here?
That remains to be seen, but I know one thing. You and I will be here to watch, and I'm not going anywhere. With what he's doing in this contest, I'm not missing a minute of it. This guy's been spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team game, but sometimes these individual performances are fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes they just kind of come to the front, despite the fact, as you said, we know it's all about the team. But the way he's playing, he's trying to make his team win on his back.
Yeah, it's been exciting. Looking back to the air on second down, it's Brady. And his throw here is incomplete. Mike Evans, the one he was looking for. And now it's third down.
Well, you most certainly don't want to go 3 and out here and give the football right back because your friend, Old Momentum, he's wondering if he should change sidelines about right now. And if you don't convert here, guess what? He's going to make the trip to the opposite side. And all of a sudden, you got a battle on your hands.
And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. It'll be a gain of 8, but it'll also lead to a 4th down.
Whether you're playing West Coast offense or not, one of the maxims of the West Coast offense is you're either throwing a touchdown or a check down. In other words, look for the big shot, but be smart. I think they did exactly that on that play. They didn't get the first down, but they're taking care of the ball well.
Yeah, and being rightly cautious with that lead here in the second half. Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field. They come in off a touchdown drive the last time they had the ball to cut down that lead. Now the defense has done their part, got them the football back.
Momentum started to shift a little bit when they scored the touchdown. It increased when the defense got them the ball back. Momentum definitely in their favor, and they got to keep things cranking, keep it on high so they can keep cutting into that lead.
The end result, 21 yards. Trailing, but with possession of the football as we get set to bring you the 4th quarter.
Let me try this bubble screen.
All the way up at the 40-yard line. From the gun, Stanford firing quickly here, and that's complete. And the result here, a pickup of 8, leaves them with 2 to go on second down. A good pickup there, 8 yards on the first down completion. More muscle up front for this 2nd and 2. They've got 3 tight ends out there.
Jesus.
And he's going to be swallowed up. Sacked back at the 45-yard line.
There's no protection. That was a blitz though, huh? Let's see. Yeah, Decker. Somebody missed a block.
Count real quick. He had the touchdown earlier, and now he comes up with the sack here. No doubt about it, he's having himself a game.
And the box with an extra defender in the secondary now on third down. They're going draw plays.
Get out of the way.
And he needed to get to the midfield stripe, but he can't do it. He's about a yard short. Call it a gain of 4, and it'll bring up 4th down. This late in the game, Charles, I think you maybe seriously have to think about going for it.
Especially where they are in terms of field position, because this is almost like no man's land. Might hurt your punter because there might not be enough space, maybe too far for your field goal kicker.
Oh my God.
Possession is
the Lion.
Possession is 9/10 of winning the game. Go for it, get the first down, close it out.
Being just short of midfield, they decide to take a crack at it on 4th down. They don't come through.
Sometimes it's just showing confidence in your defense. You know that they're good, and they'll take care of you. A lot of coaches during the week will announce to their team, we're going to be aggressive, guys. We're going to go for it. Hey, defense, you got me? A little bit of a challenge to them to see if they'll pick up the rest of the team.
We'll see how they respond now.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the fourth quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
On 2nd and 11 now. Brady. He finds Howard complete.
Damn, had to use a work that one.
Get him down as he's inside the 40. Catch number 40 for him on the year. It's a first down.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect him to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
A handoff to Fournette. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4. Now, I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line. That one, a first down pickup of 8. Throwing on first down is Brady. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Evans. And he'll go out of bounds in the red zone just inside the 20. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. If nothing else, they've already taken a couple minutes off the clock here already as they come up 2nd down. From the gun, it's Brady. He finds his tight end, Howard. That's complete. And he'll go down here at the 12-yard line. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
Well, that should be a reminder defensively, and I think it's a reminder to myself because you just can't sell out to stop the run. There's still enough time that this offense can move the football through the air, even on 1st and 2nd downs, and they obviously picked the right spot to throw the ball there.
And he was caught at the 7-yard line. And down inside the 10 here before he's out of bounds right around the 7.
All defenses worry that whenever anyone catches the ball and has a head of steam come out of the backfield, it could turn into a big play with missed tackles or he runs through people. But they were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
And he's into the end zone for a Tampa Bay touchdown. 5 touchdown passes now for Tom Brady. And the Buccaneers here finding a way to stretch their lead. They were still throwing with a comfortable lead here late, and now that lead even more comfortable.
And your first thought is it bad blood that went into this one ahead of time, that maybe they're seeking some revenge or they just don't like them? But the other thing that always hits me is, are they worried about playoff positioning, right? Are they worried about, do you need enough points in case there's a tiebreaker that comes into play later?
Now Amendola. And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25. And as this offense makes their way back out, it's AFC playoff race time as we give you a look. Stafford and the Lions now have it 1st and 10 at their own 24. And he'll throw right away. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Solid way to start the drive. 13 yards, picking up the first. All right, I got to ask you, with these RPOs, essentially the quarterback has 3 options, right? So what's different from that versus the triple option that we see the service academies run at the college level?
As a general rule, the triple option at the college level, most things are called outside of the quarterback.
And down he goes, a Buccaneer sack. Terrell Suggs, one of the best in the business at finding the QB, gets home there.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. Another try after the first down sack. Stafford, open man, he's got him, the tight end Hockenson. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down. You got the big lead defensively. willing to give him that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle him after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
Throwing on third down, Stafford. And that will be incomplete.
That animation, this is a super frustrating Madden animation. It's like, you have a blitz coming, perfect route for this, right? Who's covering him? Like a nickelback, probably? You know, now again, can that ball be led a little bit better by Stafford? Sure. I only punched it out. Yeah, I guess that's okay. I thought he just dropped it. Like, I get it, it's tight, but like... Let's see what else we had. Amendola would have probably double. Galladay double over the top. When I saw that blitz, I mean, this just seemed wide open. I just tried to lob it out there.
Incomplete pass there. What do you take from this game offensively?
Well, you know it's tough to really analyze for them because it is a team game, right? And let's be honest, though. The defense did them no favors in this one at all. Offense actually moved the ball. So, bottom line, film session, defense is going to be a real tough one for them. Offense, they'll get a little bit of praise.
Lions go for it on fourth. It's Stafford. It's caught. Jones. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. No reason not to try it there, and they do indeed convert on fourth. Felt compelled to go for it there on fourth down, trailing in the fourth quarter. They got it done.
And there's always a lot of pressure on a fourth down call. Doesn't matter the distance. You still have to get it done, as you noted, and they did.
On 1st and 10, Stafford. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he's got this down a yard or two shy of the 40 before he's out of bounds. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of, until they stop him, why not go back to him? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on 1st down. To the air again, Stafford. They haven't picked the ball off yet. That probably should have been their first. And it's 3rd down now. Play number 7 now coming up on the drive. 3rd and 5. Throwing again is Stafford. And from Galladay, that's complete. And this is going to lead to another first down as the tackle's made at the box.
40 attempts and not even 200 yards
for him on the year, and like so many others, this goes for a first down. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Throwing is Stafford.
Oops.
Catch is made by Hawkinson.
That's the wrong button.
3 yards the gain there, 2nd down. That first down completion only netted him 3. 2nd and 7. Now Stafford. And he will find his man on the end route. Complete. And this is going to lead to another first down as the tackle's made at the Bucs' 12-yard line. 15 yards on the play. First down.
Oh, that was a pretty route right there because it's all about finding a window on a route like that. He lined up on his left, ran the deep in route over the middle, and the ball was right where it needed to be. Really good trust between quarterback and receiver. Really good completion.
And here he'll get it down to the 7. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
From the 7, it's 2nd and 5. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back. They're looking at second down now as they search for a consolation score. Second and 5 now. Stafford.
Seriously?
He lost the football. It's loose. And it's picked up by the Buccaneers.
And with that kind
Not a whole lot open. Oh, man.
of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the fourth quarter.
You'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely. They'll try and run some clock with Fournette. And he'll take this one only up to about his 13-yard line. Whistles now and a timeout. So defensively, they burn it here with 1:51 left. The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. They'll run it again with Fournette. And he'll get this one up to about his 14. A 1-yard gain there following the 3-yard pickup on first down. On 3rd down, Fournette.
Wow. What a Lions play.
He's at the 50. He's at the 30. The 20. Touchdown.
That's such a Lions play.
Fournette, his 9th touchdown of the season. And the Bucs are going to add on to their lead.
Well, there's just about a minute left in this game, and they're still taking it into the end zone. And you know they could have taken a knee there, but they decided to play this one all the way out. And I think their philosophy is,
thanks, Tampa Bay.
we're going to give you everything we've got. If we just go ahead and take a knee now,
We've gotten smoked a few games this year. Like, oh my gosh, like college football scores.
They're not about to do that to their opponent.
Extra point put through by Succop, and that'll increase their lead to 28. Now it's Ryan Succop on after the touchdown to kick it away. Now Amendola.
Try to return this myself. Not very good.
20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Detroit's offense ready to take over.
Try to work on
down big here late.
Stafford's completion percentage again.
Last drive here for pride.
Some people like to do that. I remember playing for a guy once. We were down huge, and someone said, "Coach, what do you want to call?" He just waved a hand like, "Who cares? Let's get out of here and do something some other time." But some teams like to do something at the end to feel a little bit better as they continue to move forward.
There's nobody open.
Put this one behind them.
And I get it, they're probably just sitting on the coverage predict, but I mean, there's not a soul open on this play. Oh, Kenny Galladay was open, my bad. I just missed him. I wasn't even looking his way though, honestly. I should have. My bad, my bad.
Wasn't outside of the tackle box. There's your penalty.
And accompanying that penalty, a loss of down.
They lose the yardage, and of course they also lose the down on the grounding call, and it's quickly 2nd and long. From the gun, here's Stafford. The left side completion to Jones. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. They're going to need to get up and set in a hurry.
Same play, I guess. Not many options.
On 3rd down, Stafford.
Whoa! I thought he was running an out route, or a corner.
So far, that probably should have been their first. But at least it's 4th down.
This has been a rough one, to put it mildly, for them. And after this one's done, you just feel like at the post-game press conference, this team's going to have a lot of questions and definitely not a lot of answers.
On 4th down, Stafford. inside by Jones.
That's going to do it.
And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. A big offensive explosion helped leading them to victory. The defensive guys, they're just saying,
That was a rough stream, guys.
points up every week, we'll just keep winning.
Take a quick look at the post game. I'm going to be streaming week 17 at some point today. Do some more scouting, things like that. So that was an ugly game. I wonder how much I had some bad kicks, and that's not the reason we lost, but definitely gave them a few short fields.
And they'll head back home next week to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Meanwhile, for Detroit, they hit double digits in losses as they fall to 5 and 10. And they'll get a home date next
So, I mean, we
week
kept pace,
against
total
the
offense. They just had
Minnesota
such short
Vikings.
fields and far more efficient with the red zone. Rushing yards.
Guess what? Charles and I will be here again. It's the NFL on EA Sports.
2 turnovers? Oh, yeah, the tight end fumble and then Stafford's fumble. It's weird, like, we kept pace with them. I mean, they had 7 third down attempts, we had 16, so I mean, that just shows you the down, what they're able to pick up in yardage on 1st and 2nd downs. Penalties weren't too bad. There need to be more, though. Very strange. I mean, we got blown out by 4 touchdowns. Ugh. Yeah. That's a big difference right there. Leonard Fournette, 13 carries. Okay. So yeah, maybe run blocking can come down a little bit. Oh, he had that super long run, though. We're definitely running the ball a lot better. Lowe, 6 catches. Jones, 6 catches. Just the 1 drop. They had 2 drops. Okay. Mike Evans, 3 touchdowns. Damn. That's the first time, though, a top-notch receiver really just owned us all year. A lot of secondary receivers have had big games against us, but that's the first time. Scotty Miller, I never even heard of this guy. They had 4 sacks today. Oof. Wow. That's me throwing into a lot of coverage today. And some of it just being really tight coverage. Okay. All good things that help me looking at the sliders and whatnot. So anyway, that's going to do it for episode 7. Like I said, I'll be streaming probably episode 8 probably later today. So be on the lookout for that. If you'd like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, it's not just this Madden series, but a lot of different series that focus on franchise, gameplay, sliders, things like that. Just trying to set up the best settings to get realistic play out of the sport games that we currently have right now, as well as next gen, because PS5 on pre-order, be picking it up the day of, and yeah, be jumping into some sports stuff right away with that too. So anyway, I'm Mike Lowe. You can find me on Twitter at MikeLowe47. If you have questions about this, I would pop into either here. You can leave comments on this video, or you can jump into the Operation Sports slider thread, and that's where the details of the settings that I'm using here are at. And it's been really, really fun. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.